What's up, YouTube? Tony Dubz here. Wait a minute. I'm gonna be doing some first impressions of this thing right here. I usually have my uh, camera flipped so that my finger goes where I want it to. I'm not used to having it this way. But anyways, this man right here, Chad I Ginsburg, CIG, the Sig Man, former producer and guitarist for the band CKY, has come out with his own solo album because there is another certain member of CKY that can't get his shit together and work well with other people. So, and to be honest with you, this is something that a lot of us have been like pulling for and hoping for even before CKY split. CIG, he's a talented musician. He's an awesome fucking dude. I consider him a good friend. But I haven't listened to this yet, and I'm gonna be as unbiased as I possibly can. Again, I've been hyped about this for a while, so take it for what you will. But I'll be as honest as I can be, despite the fact that I love the hell out of this dude. So, anyways, I'm not going to be playing any of the music because they're samples on iTunes if you really want to hear it before you purchase. I understand if you're not already a fan, you might want to get an idea of what it's like, but because of the way YouTube is and certain things, and I guess I could ask Chad for permission, and I might eventually do a more in-depth review. But for now, I'm just going to listen to a track and come back and hit record on the video and give my thoughts on each one piece by piece. And who knows, maybe I'll come back later and edit it with like small little pieces of the songs just for continuity purposes. So anyways, I hope you like the video. And seriously, if you're a fan of real awesome, like traditional old school rock and roll, you should definitely get this album. Fucking love it. What can I say, man? More than I was. It's exactly what I was expecting from Chad, from the guy that pretty much as somebody else would like to say otherwise, really helped to define the sound of CKY. Um, he was a producer, so he had a lot of input on those things like the tone and the atmosphere of the music, and that's very much present throughout track one, at least, which is titled Alive with Overdrive. The riff, first of all, kicks right in and is just fucking awesome. It's got that familiar CKY tinge to it, not quite the same tone that you would hear from CKY, but similar. It's like a new and improved kind of take on that, I guess. Again, I don't really want to try to compare it to the CKY stuff because I mean it's not CKY, but you kind of can't help it, right? Just that's all. Since Rudy and Blitz, which was his old project before he got with CKY, he hasn't really done anything solo wise. So pretty much the only Chad Ginsburg you have to reference is what he's done with CKY. So that's kind of where I'm coming from with that. But it's just the guitar tone is sweet. It's crisp. It sounds just amazing. It's a great way to start the album. It had me bobbing my head the whole time. It has a great flow, great structure. If I was grading on a scale of 1 to 5, it's got to be a 5 out of 5 for me. And again, that might just be because I'm a fan in general, but I don't see how you could be a true fan of like really creative, talented, fun rock and roll music and not love this song. So track 1 so far, so fucking good. Loving it, Chad.
We made mistakes, we made a lie. I'm wide awake, though my body died. Like nothing new, I'm dead to you. Like nothing new, I'm dead to you. You'll be running from the violent memories. I'll be haunting you, beside you like a silent melody.
Dead to You. Man, this song is again amazing. Well, where do I start? It's a great second song for the album. It has a very it starts off with this very ambient, airy awesomeness is the best way I can describe it. I'm not. It's hard to describe. You just have to hear it. It just has a really cool vibe to it. I wish I could explain it better than that. The vocals are very haunting, very layered. There's a lot of vocals going on at certain parts in the song, which is something that I always loved about CKY's music, because it would be like, of course, you would have like the main, vocal track of the song, but if you had some decent headphones, which these aren't the greatest headphones in the world, it's all I had on hand right away. But they get the job done. But if you have a good stereo system or some good headphones, you can hear just deep layers of other vocal stuff going on that really accents the main vocal track very well. It's just again, elements that I really loved about CKY that I always knew were because of Chad, or at least that he made them work the way they should work, are very present here, and I would expect nothing less. The beat, like the flow of the song, the drums are really cool. When they kick in, it just adds, like, the atmosphere of the song. Track 2, Dead to You, is just amazing. And I don't know for sure. I'm hoping, Chad said maybe we could do an interview for my channel here once the album was out and everything, and I hope we get to do that soon. So again, I don't know this for sure, but I think this song is personally about the drama that's been going on with CKY in the past few years. There's certain lyrics that make me think this. The title alone makes me think it, but it's kind of like the song seems to be about, like, when there's somebody in your life and you have a falling out with them, whether it's a girlfriend, whether it's just a friend, maybe a bandmate, and you pretty much move on. Like, you're past them. You're just like, I'm done talking about that person. I'm done thinking about that person. You're not on my mind anymore. Usually would say you're dead to me. But in this case, like, it seems like he's saying I'm dead to you, in the sense that I'm just not going to associate with you anymore. Yeah, I realize you're still there, but I'm not going to give you any attention. So no matter how much you talk shit about me, no matter how much dirt you try to kick up, I'm going to be over here doing my thing, and it's going to drive you crazy, because for some reason you just can't get me off my mind, because you realize that it's your fault that shit went the way it did. Well, I mean, maybe not necessarily all your fault, but, everybody has at least a little bit of blame in every situation. But there are people that are the bigger person that move on and just say, I'm not going to play these bullshit drama games. And then there's always at least one other person that just will not let it go, and just continues to make a fool of themselves, while the other person's just like, yeah, whatever. Whatever they're doing, I don't care. So, yeah, track 2, again, I would have to give it 5 out of 5. Again, I might be biased because I love Chad, and he's a good dude and he's talented as hell. I think he's a really talented musician or writer. And again, like, you know, we haven't really heard him sing since Rudy and Blitz. He did the vocals on Afterworld, a CKY song that came out for the Jackass 3 soundtrack. So we've heard him sing recently, but that was more of a sing talky type thing, which was awesome. He did a great job on that, but it didn't really showcase his what he could do with his own vocals as well as this does, I think, and as well as the Rudy and Blitz stuff in the past. By the way, if you're digging this stuff, look up Rudy and Blitz. You might be able to find it on eBay. I'm sure you can find a torrent somewhere. I mean, I would rather you buy it properly. If Chad ever re-releases it, that would be awesome. But if you can find it, it's definitely worth a listen. It's got that that 90s alternative rock kind of feel to it. It feels very 90s. If you're into 90s music, I think you would really like Rudy and Blitz. So anyways, let's go on to track 3.
There's a million todays, but less and less tomorrows. A million ways to poorly plot destruction. 'Cause you know you gotta just keep you cool and don't complain. Nothing ever stays the same. Don't you know there's life beyond the barricade, and you're gonna find your way. Yeah, you know it's darkest down the lonely path, but at the end the sun is there to stay. You know there's life beyond the barricade. We should never be afraid.
Beyond the Barricade from Rock and Roll Alibis. Again, I love it. This one, as I was talking about Rudy and Blitz a minute ago on the last track, this one definitely reminds me a lot of that material. But it also, when the vocals first kicked in, I think Chad was really going for an Alice in Chains type thing here. Maybe not consciously, but the song at first gave me a really like happy, like radio rock from the 90s vibe when it first kicked in, with the guitar sound and the drum sound, and then whenever he starts singing, I'm like, hold on. This reminds me a lot of Alice in Chains, but that's just the vocal tone that he used gave me that impression. The song is not a depressing song at all, which a lot of Alice in Chains songs were. It's a very uplifting, very motivating track. From what I could take from it, it's a song about breaking out of what you're used to, getting out of your comfort zone, doing some new shit with your life, not being afraid, which is honestly, you know, something I've been struggling with lately, with this whole YouTube thing and some other projects I want to start working on. You know, we get comfortable doing what we're used to, and when it's not as fulfilling anymore, you know, we maybe get depressed or have issues with it, and it's like, I don't really like this thing I'm doing anymore, but it pays the bills. You know, it's what I'm used to. To try something new is just too scary. And this song's just saying, hey, fuck that. Sometimes you got to try something new to actually get some pleasure out of life. Now, I'm not saying that I feel that way about my job, because I don't. I love my job. But there are other things that, you know, I would like to eventually do. And this song is pretty much about that. It's a very relaxing song. The guitar solo in it is very satisfying, is the best way I can put it. It sounds really cool. Like it's like audio heroin. That's the best way I can put it. Like it really, like the song itself put me in a very relaxed state. When that solo kicked in, I was like, oh, yeah, that's what I've been looking for. Because anybody that doesn't know, again, if you've seen any of my other videos, I am a DJ. I work in strip clubs. And that's not exactly, these days, isn't exactly the most rock and roll place. You know, I have to listen to a lot of music that I absolutely hate. And especially like the rock and roll that is popular right now is just it doesn't really do much for me. But this feels like real rock and roll. This feels like what's been missing for shit, I don't know, at least the past 5 to 8 years, somewhere along in there. You know, there's a lot of good rock that's been coming out, but it just hasn't spoken to me like this has been speaking to me so far. But that being said, I will say that, like I said, I'm going to try to be completely unbiased. Honestly, this could be a 5 out of 5 track for me, but I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 just because it's, you know what, I don't know. Maybe it is a 5 out of 5. I mean, honestly, to me it is, because I love it, and again, maybe that's just my bias talking, but the reason I settled on that score was mainly because I feel like this song probably should have came later in the album. I don't know yet because I haven't heard the whole album yet. So again, my opinion on that might change. And I mean, I really can't complain about anything about the song. The the drums are really cool. It's got a big drum sound. The guitar tone is cool. Like I said, it reminds me of 90s radio rock, which is something that I really enjoy. Reminds me of Alice in Chains. Again, something I really enjoy. So maybe, maybe I'm just saying 4.5 out of 5 so that people don't call me a fucking kiss ass. But either way, you know what? Fuck it. I'm changing it. 5 out of 5, motherfuckers. Further reflection. If you don't agree, fuck you. You do your own review. This is my shit. So anyways, on to track 4.
It's not a question of who's got the dignity. You got nothing but something to hide. Just remember your friends become your enemies. It's best to keep some friends on the side. Something to hide. God. Something to hide. Something to hide. God. Something to hide. Well, I'm the king of rock and roll alibis, and you're the queen who's vaguely disguised. We are no longer friends, we are enemies, and you got nothing but something to hide.
Good gravy. Fuck. Woo. What was that? Track 4, Something to Hide, from the brand new album Rock and Roll Alibis by C.I.G. Chad I Ginsburg here on Radio Dubz. Alright. God, man. Chad, you're making it very hard for me to be an unbiased reviewer here. I hope you know that, Mr. Ginsburg. My middle name is not a name, it's just the letter I, and it stands for individual, motherfucker. You are an individual. And this album is good. It's fucking great. Honestly, it's better than good. So far, track 4, I have no complaints so far, man. I'm getting emotional over here, Chad. This is what we've been waiting on, man. This is what we have been begging for years, man. You should have kicked that other guy out years ago. Anyways. Big drum intro, big beat. Reminds me kind of like the 80s power drums, kicks the song in. You get like an ambiance type of guitar synth line that comes in. Very haunting vocal tracks, again with a lot of layers, or at least a few layers. I wouldn't say a lot. Classic Chad / CKY subject matter, which again, I don't have any real evidence for saying this. It's just my observation. Kind of makes me think that he had more input on lyrics and subject matter in the past than other certain members of the band would have you believe. But again, he is a great songwriter, so he just writes what he wants to write. So maybe not, maybe so. again, I don't want to, because I've talked to Chad recently about all the drama that went on and is still going on. Well, he's not feeding the drama. This other dude is. And a lot of other people are too. And honestly, I throw in my 2 cents every once in a while. But I'm just an observer. But I feel like this is another song that might have been influenced by that stuff. Maybe Chad, knows somebody that has something to hide. I don't know. Either way, it's a great song. One of the lines, we are no longer friends, we are enemies. We are no longer friends, we are enemies, you got something to hide. I think this could be a big hit single, and it's within this song that he drops the rock and roll alibis line. I think he says, I'm the king of rock and roll alibis, which is it's a really cool line. I love this song. So far, I think this is my favorite song off the album. So again, I'm just going to stop doing the numbers, the rating system, because I'm just going to tell you right now, so far, if the rest of the album is as good as the first 4 tracks, it's going to be a perfect album for me. Again, you might not feel the same out there if you're watching, but I really believe, like I've said, if you're a fan of rock and roll, if you're a fan of really creative, talented songwriters and musicians, you're going to love this album. Truly. But if you're a Nickelback fan, if you're a fan of cookie cutter, easy to digest rock and roll, you might not. I think you'll still like it, but it may not be your thing. But I think you should check it out regardless. So again, that was track 4. Man, Chad, you are killing it, son. On to track 5. Track 5. You better, you gotta. Wait a minute. I just got a text. Oh, that was a text from Chad I Ginsburg saying, feel free, I would imagine this is what that means, to throw a little sample of each song in between my thoughts. So, there you go. I guess you're hearing music at some point. So, Chad, thank you very much for that. And I really hope we get to do that interview. Okay, so track 5, man. You better, you gotta. Now, this is, up until now, there's been a little bit of that old CKY feel in there. So I got an eye twitch that's driving me crazy. But this song, track 5, really, utilizes that classic guitar tone that CKY was famous for. The song very much flows like a CKY song would flow, which is one of the main reasons I love that band. And despite the drama and the stuff that's happened in recent years, I still love everything they've ever done as a band. The lyrics are fun. I can see this being a very fun song to experience live. So I'm really hoping I can get Chad to bring him and his merry band of musicians through to Kentucky, so I will get to experience all these songs live. But this one especially, I feel like it's going to be fun to sing along with. It's going to be a very crowd interactive song. It's a very powerful song. The guitar solo in it is fucking awesome. Very well placed. That's one thing about guitar solos that always kind of bothered me in some instances, was it's like sometimes they just feel like they're tacked on because they have to be there. And when Chad does it, it just flows so well with the song. Like it just hits you. Like it feels like that's exactly where it's supposed to be, and it just works. And he keeps it. He doesn't go all crazy with it. I mean, it's good. It's great the way he does it, but you know what I'm saying. So again, another great track number 5. as I guess you just heard it there because Chad said do it. I love it. It's good. So there's that. Track 5. Again, 5 out of 5 if I have to put a number on it, because so far I have not been disappointed in this album. Even with CKY with their last album, I liked the whole thing. I liked every track, but there were certain tracks where I was like, this is cool, but I can skip over it and get to the next one that I like better. But yeah, I didn't hate any of them, but so far on this one, I haven't heard one yet that I would actually skip the next time I give it a listen through, and I can't foresee any other time in the future, because I'm sure I'm going to wear this the fuck out. I don't see me skipping any songs yet. So that's track 5, You Betta You Gotta. And I'm going to say you better fucking buy this album. You gotta buy this album. If you're a rock and roll fan and you don't have this album yet, you're fucking slipping. This shit definitely needs our attention. More than you'll ever know. And if you actually go read up on Chad and everything and listen to it, I think you will very much be on board with not just this album, but the stuff he strives for in rock and roll music in general. Not just him, CKY, the way it used to be, and stuff. If you've never listened to them, they're definitely worth listening to. But anyway, so on to track 6. Death Destroyer, raid the devil's clones, shake the putrid insides, fire on the road, show them no emotions, naked and alone, frolic in the vengeance, lose all control. Yes, track 6, Rock Survivors. Oh man, that bass lick intro is tasty. Man, that shit was so appetizing. With a well complementing drum line backing it up. Perfect intro. Another head bobbing song. Has a really nice flow, a really nice atmosphere about it. So far, in my opinion, the coolest vocal style production on the vocals yet in the album. I mean, it's all been good, but this one here just really was pleasing to my ears. Not a lot of layers, but just the right amount, and just sounded really cool. Great production on this, on the whole album, but on this one especially, I've been digging. The lyrics are they tell a story, which is something that's rare in music these days, as far as like rock music, like popular rock music and whatnot, which I think this very well could be. If if the radio landscape wasn't as it is, but I think this album is really good, and I think it'll get a lot of attention. Again, the guitar work's just really cool. It sounds really cool in this song. The bridge is very CKY to me. It sounds, the rest of the song sounds very different. Very different than what CKY usually did. But the bridge kicks in, and it's like, there it is. Which again, I love what he's doing. It didn't have to be all CKY carbon copy for this album. In fact, that I probably would not have liked, but I like what he's doing. He's taken all of his styles that he's had in the past, and he's adding some new shit to it, and it's working so far. Track 6, 1 through 6, I've loved them all. Again, not a track yet that I would skip. This Rock Survivors again is going to be another fun live song, I think. It'd be fun to sing along to. I could see it as a closing song. So far, if I was to pick a set list for his upcoming tour, I would probably close with this song. But again, I haven't heard the rest of the album, so that may change. But so far, this would be the closer for me. But so yeah, on to track 7. Chad, you're killing it, man. Killing it. Yeah, I've been holding on to
Yeah, I've been holding on to you. I know it's time that I say goodbye, but then it's hard to do. You wanted nothing but the best. Yeah, you wanted the best. You should've got the best. I wanted sex and drugs instead. No, I wanted the drugs and sex. I got enough. Years later, everything has changed. Things have changed. Now it's rearranged.
Up on the mountain top. The song has to me, my opinion, of course, this is all my opinion, this is all my observations, and you may not agree, and that's fine, but the song starts out with a very classic rock type feeling to me, like I feel like kind of like I get like a 1970s Eric Clapton kind of feeling off of it at first, I mean, that changes obviously, I mean, but just the way the guitar kicks in and the beat, and it just kind of really has that classic rock feel to me, and I love it. It sounds really cool. Again, this album is so diverse so far. I mean, like, I know I keep throwing around a lot of the same terms, but like I said, I've got a bias, and I'm kind of comparing it to what I'm used to with the likes of CKY, and there are elements of that, but for the most part, it's been a very diverse album, as diverse as CKY's first album, Volume 1, was. I mean, it's not the same style, obviously, and it's not, that's, what I'm trying to say, it's not the same thing, but each song, although they flow together quite nicely, really stand on their own, as their own fucking awesome piece of awesomeness, is the best way I can put it. I'm such a wordsmith. But again, the vocals kick in, reminded me a whole lot of the Rudy and Blitz stuff, which is awesome. It's got a very radio friendly type of feel, but it's still very, very new and fresh. It's unlike anything you really hear on the radio right now. But I think it would fit in well, and I think it's again, like I always felt about CKY. I felt if anybody really gave them an honest chance on the radio, and if certain songs that would have been released for singles that weren't released for singles, if they would have released those songs as radio play singles, I think like Close Yet Far and Sarah's Mask and things like that, I think they probably would have been a lot bigger than they were. Of course, they were, again, an awesome band. But sometimes, the radio is very, very ballad friendly. And I think a lot of people would have got it and they would have enjoyed the rest of what they heard. But anyways, I'm going off on a tangent. I always felt like they were very different from anything else that was out there, but I felt like people would have latched onto it if they would have actually heard and gave it a fair and honest chance. And they can't really do that if the radio's not playing it. So, anyways, which these days with the internet and YouTube the way it is, and Spotify and all these different things, that's way different. And I think that this will catch on. I'm going to promote the hell out of it, and I know a lot of other people that will too. So, anyways, again, I like it. Has a very classic rock feel, but again, it feels very new and different, and very pleasing to the ears. Again, is probably the best thing I can say about this album so far. Very, very nice to listen to. Just all the way through, it feels very good. Like it's very rewarding rock and roll music. Not only just because you've been waiting on it so long, but it just feels good to listen to. So again, audio heroin. Let's go on to track 8, I think. Woo.
Devils inside of me, demons get out, murderous sympathy, left you bleeding beside me, I left you needing to die.
is Sympathy. Again, can't complain. I don't hate it. You know, it's good. It's real good. I think I had pretty high expectations for this album because I knew Chad could pull off something great. But I can honestly say he far exceeded those. Like, if I have to be completely honest, like, he fucking went way above and beyond what I was expecting. Uh, so I mean, I didn't underestimate him. I knew he could pull off something awesome, but I mean, I just didn't envision how awesome. And again, I got a lot of brown shit on my nose, but I can't help it. When it's good, it's good. And when you're a fan of good, creative rock and roll, I think you can't help but enjoy this album. This one has that again. I hear CKY in it. The guitar tone at certain times is very similar. The style of riffage, if you want to call it that, the riffs in the song are very remind me of CKY. And again, because I feel like this could be a very good song that you would hear in like a skater video or a surfing video. Like it just has that drive to it. It has that beat, like a car chase, or like again, like you might hear it in the background while you're watching X Games or the old CKY videos. It would have fit in there with the stuff Bam was doing back in the day and all that stuff he was filming. So yeah, I could hear it. Hopefully, you should campaign to get this on the new Tony Hawk game that's going to be coming out. I think this song would fit in perfectly. And plus, they're kind of going back to the old school style of Tony Hawk games with it. So they got to have some kind of CKY representation on it. It might as well be this song here, I think. It's a great song. The vocal effects are very cool, very haunting. Like if you listen to it through headphones and they really cut through your head and just kind of really just get in there. Again, it could be great driving music. I'm definitely going to be listening to this whole album a lot in the car, but especially this last track here. It's I can see myself exceeding the speed limit if I don't pay attention. I could probably easily get it up to 90 in the old Volvo before I realize and probably get pulled over and get a ticket. And I'll be sending that ticket to you, Chad, because it's all your fault, basically. It could be a good fight scene in the movie, like in the background of a good fight scene, people beating the shit out of each other, in like a really cheesy action movie, like one of those really like Crank or the Transporter, like really over the top type action movies. It'd be a good song in there for one of the big chases or for one of the big fights. And then, it end. Of course, this is the end of the album. The very end, the outro again, very haunting. In my opinion, the perfect end to a perfect album. Now, nothing in this world is ever perfect, or so they say. But in my eyes, again, I might just be incredibly biased, but track 8 and all 7 tracks that came before it, I don't have anything bad to say about them. I tried I tried on that one track to give it a lower score just so people didn't say I was being biased and being a brown noser, but I couldn't. I had to change my score because it just really was that good to me. Again, it's all objective, I guess. Is it the right term? Objective, I guess. But yeah, I love it. Track 8 tracks of rock and roll fucking tasty sweetness. I had finally, my fat ass had to try those Captain Crunch things from Taco Bell earlier, and those were fucking awesome. But if there was a food form of rock and roll Alibis, it would kick the shit out of those Captain Crunch Delights from Taco Bell. And you could take that to the bank, but at least take it to iTunes or whatever, cig.bandcamp.com, and get you a copy of this album, whether it's just digital or you get the CD or the vinyl, whatever. You got to get it. It's awesome. Again, you'll hear some samples in between my rants here. Again, thank you, Chad, for letting me do that. But don't, like, I'm gonna pick the best parts of the songs that I can. I'm not gonna keep them too long. Obviously, you've already noticed, but don't just go by that. I mean, that'll give you a decent idea what it sounds like. But again, you should just get the album and listen to it from front to back as a whole. I think you'll really enjoy it. Uh, each track is amazing, and the album as a whole flows really well. Uh, and the little 15-second samples I'm giving you here, again, will give you a good idea, but it's not going to give you the real experience. So if you at least like the 15-second samples and you're intrigued, you got to go get it. You got to get it, and you got to listen to it with some good headphones or a good stereo. And, if you're into the herbal relaxation methods, get into that. I am. So that definitely always enhances the experience. And with the type of production that Chad uses, they very much complement each other very well. So, again, Chad, thank you for this awesome album. I look forward to seeing you on tour. I hope a lot of people go out and get this. You deserve it. You deserve all kinds of success for this awesome feat of rock and roll. And again, I'll see you out on the road. People watching, rate, hit that subscribe button. Tell me your thoughts on the album if you've heard it. Put it in the comments below. Thanks for watching.